Once you make a cake, how do you get it where it needs to be? First, you need to consider what icing you've covered your cake in, and that's going to depend on how you store it before you actually get it into the car or to your location. If it's made with buttercream icing, you can store it at room temperature for a couple of days. You can also freeze buttercream icing. Now, if you have buttercream icing that you put cream cheese with, because it's a dairy product, you actually need to refrigerate it. Also, if you're making a whipped cream icing or a stabilized whipped cream, that needs to be refrigerated. If you've put pudding or some type of a dairy product in between your layers, you do need to refrigerate it. Now, there's a whipped icing mix on the market that's very much like whipped cream, but you don't have to refrigerate it. It tastes quite a bit like whipped cream. Fondant. If you're using rolled fondant, you want to leave that on the counter. You don't want to put it in the refrigerator or the freezer, because if you do, you're going to get some condensation and you're going to get shiny spots on your fondant. Now, if you're making items with royal icing, you've got the meringue powder in there, and so they will dry just fine at room temperature. You don't want to freeze or refrigerate them. If you're putting royal icing flowers on top of your buttercream, then you don't want to put them on until after you've taken your buttercream cake out of the refrigerator or freezer and let it thaw. Now, you're getting ready to transport it. If you want to transport it accurately and safely, you want to make sure you have a sturdy base. Now, I have 3 cake circles here. You could use plywood, but you could also put 3 cake bases together. Now, this corrugate lines go this way, and this way. So you want them 3 different ways so it actually gives additional structure. And what you do is tape these 3 together if you have a fairly heavy cake. Now, also, when you're storing your cake, something like this party cake that we have here, the sunlight will alter the color, so you want to keep it away from the sunlight. Humidity, if you're working in high humidity, you want to use pure cane confectioner's sugar and add 1 teaspoon of meringue powder to your icing recipe. Avoid foil or plastic wrap because that will crush it. Put it in your box, and you can use some double-sided sticky tape, some webbing. You can actually take regular tape, roll it around to make circles, and put it underneath your cake. You can store it in a bakery box. Make sure this is taped on this side so it doesn't flop down on top of your cake while you're transporting it. Be sure to take an emergency kit with your decorating bags and tips and icing and some extra flowers in case something happens to your cake. Now, when you get in the car, you want to make sure you put your cake on the floor, not the seat. If it's cool enough weather outside, you can put your cake in the trunk. So that's how you transport and store your cakes.